Hi, my name is Jeff Kresge. I'm the Tech Integration Specialist at Jamestown Public Schools, along with my cohort, Jason Kathman. This video is going to be designed to get you and your students up into Google Classroom via iPad. There's also a separate video for desktops and laptops, and because they look different, there are two separate videos. So if you're on an iPad, this video is for you. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to navigate from our home screen to the Google Classroom app. The Google Classroom app is right here, and the Google Classroom app looks like a chalkboard with a character on it. So we're going to click that, and the first thing that you're going to see is all of the classes that your student is in. Students, if this is you, you'll see all of your classes. And on the top left-hand side of the screen, you see three bars. If you click that three bars, you'll see all the classes that you're in, but you'll also see some important things like a calendar. So if you click that calendar, that will show you all of the things that you're currently in for your class. In addition, if you click the to-do on that line, the to-do list will show you all of the things that you have to do for your classes, all of your classes combined, so they'll all show up together. And if my internet was a little bit faster, there we go, you'd see that. So again, here are all your assignments. These are the ones that have been assigned. Here are the ones that you have missing in the missing tab. And the ones that you've completed are over here on the done tab. So again, to do, super important, easy to keep yourself organized. You can see what you've been assigned, what you've been missing, and if my internet was faster, you could see what your to-do list would be. Okay, so let's go back to our classes. And there are a few ways to join a class. One way to join the class is in the bottom right-hand side of the screen, you'll see a plus icon. So if you click that plus icon, it will bring up your blank for your class code. If the teacher has sent you a class code, that class code goes right in there, and it will be between 5, 6, or 7 characters or numbers. So we're not going to use that class code, but that's where you would put it, and then you'd be into the account. Let's click that closed. The other way that you can join a classroom is if a teacher has put your name in directly. So I have invited my son Jackson, and this is his account, to the Intro to Google Classroom, which is why it says at the top, Intro to Google Classroom, join or decline. What we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to click join, and then we'll automatically be entered into that class. So I've hit the join button, and it is currently putting us in that class. Now that we're in the class, you're going to see the basic classroom function. So this is the home screen for the Intro to Google Classroom. This is how the teacher sets it up. And what you'll notice on iPad is that we start in the stream. At the bottom of the screen, you see stream and classwork and people. Those three tabs each have different functions. Let's talk about the stream first. So think of the stream as a Facebook feed or a Twitter feed. It's basically for communication. Sometimes teachers choose to put their assignments in the stream, but basically most teachers just use the stream for communication with their students. Okay, so now that we have general gist on the stream, let's talk about the Classwork tab. So at the bottom of the screen, I'm going to move from stream to classwork by touching on the classwork icon. That brings up this page, and this is the classwork homepage. So right away we notice a couple of things. We notice that there are two topics. The first topic is World War I, and the second topic is civil rights. There's also an assignment above the World War I topic called Favorite Sport. The topic button is at the top right-hand side of the screen. You'll see an inverted triangle with 3 lines. If you click that and you see the two topics, if you just want to see the World War I items, then it will just be World War I. If, however, you would like to see the other topics, civil rights, likewise, it pulls up only the civil rights. This is a great way for students to stay organized. If you know that you're focused on civil rights and not World War I, then the easiest way to do that is again to filter your topic. However, you will notice that there is one assignment here that is not in a topic. That is called favorite sport, and anything not in topics go above the topics feed. So let's dive in, now that we know what topics are, to assignments. Let's choose the favorite sport assignment first. If we click it, what we'll see here is the stub for the assignment. It says favorite sport. It's worth 100 points, so it's super important. And here's what the challenge is. Open the attached Google Doc by clicking on it, then answer the question, what's your favorite sport on the document? Return back to Google Classroom and click on the right side of the screen, and thank you. So that's our assignment. At the bottom of the screen, it says your work, add a private comment, and assigned. If we take this arrow down at the bottom of the screen and pull up on it, that shows us our work. And you'll notice that Jackson has a document with his name on it that says, Jackson Kresge, what's your favorite sport? That means that the teacher has assigned this to each and every one of the students, and each and every student has a different document. To work on this document, we know the challenge. The challenge is to answer the question, and then to come back to Classroom and turn it in. So we'll click on the Jackson Kresge, what is your favorite sport? Right here. When we click on it, it launches in Google Docs. Now, this is where some students get confused. If you look in the top right-hand side, there are 3 icons. Working from left to right, the first icon is a piece of paper with a magnifying glass. The second icon is a pencil to mark it up as a PDF. And the third icon is open in another window. Most teachers want their students to edit this document in Google Docs. So we are not going to click the paper with the magnifying glass. We are not going to click the PDF with the pencil. But what we are going to do is click the last one, the box with the arrow. And when we do that, it will open up in Google. When that happens, now we've got our document and we can edit that document. So if you look at the document, it says, what is your favorite sport? And then there's an answer blank. In the bottom right-hand side of the screen, there's a pencil. I'm going to click that pencil. When I do, it pulls up a cursor. I'm going to move the cursor into the box. And then I'm going to type Jackson's favorite sport, which I happen to know is ice hockey. Once I have that document done, okay, I've answered my question, I'm going to return to Classroom. Now, here's how you do that. In the top left-hand part of the screen, you'll notice that there's a tiny little word that says Classroom next to the date and time with an arrow. I'm going to click that Classroom link right there, and it's going to take me back to Google Classroom. I'm going to X this out, and there is my document. Now, to make sure that the changes were saved, and the changes are almost always saved in Google, we're going to load that up again. There it is. My answer is there. I'm going to click it closed again on the X. I've got my answer. I checked it. I'm going to turn it in. To do that, we just simply hit the very large turn in button in bright blue on our screen, and that means that the teacher will get it. It'll ask us one more time, are you sure you want to do that? So you think, okay, did I proofread it? Did I check it for capitalization, spelling, and grammar? There wasn't much there, so I'm going to turn it in, confident in my ability as a student. Now, it shows us at the bottom of the screen, assignment turned in, and I'm good to go. I'm going to pull down on the caret at the top of the screen, and then I'm going to hit the left arrow at the top of the screen on the left-hand side, and that takes me back to Google Classroom. Now, at this point, I would like you to notice the assignment that we just worked on, favorite sport, is now grayed out. The other assignments are blue because we haven't done them. So this is a good way for students to maintain their organization. They can look at their blue and grays and say, okay, blues need to be done, grays have been done, and that, my friends, is how you turn in an assignment in Google Classroom. Now, you'll notice that we've got 3 other unfinished assignments, and 1 other gray thing that exists in civil rights. So let's take a look at each of these. We're going to click on Topics in World War I right now, and Causes of World War I. So you see that little highlight there. This is the Causes of World War I assignment. And it says, using materials provided below and any outside research, discover the main causes of World War I. It also has given us a materials list, and it is telling us to, on the Google slide provided, place 4 images to represent the main causes of World War I. So, my attachments are underneath. Any attachment that I want to open up, all I've got to do is click on it. So, here's my Google slide. I need to open up my Google slide, just like we did before. Now, just like we did before, we're not going to go to the first icon on the right, the paper with the magnifying glass. We're not going to go to the pencil as a PDF and mark it up. We are going to go to the box with the arrow, and that will open up our Google Slides application. So here we have our Google slide. I see that 2 students have already added 2 of the images. So what I need to do is add a 3rd. So let's see, I've got imperialism with the lady with the warrior boat hat. I've got alliances. I also know that militarism is 1 and nationalism is 1. So here's what I'm going to do for that assignment. I'm going to go and hit my home screen. I'm going to open up my browser of choice. And on my browser of choice, I'm going to look for the word nationalism, because I know that nationalism is 1 of the causes of World War I. And I want to grab an image. What does nationalism look like? And so this would be a perfect image for that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold my finger on that image, and I'm going to save it. When I save it, it's going to go into my photos. Now, I'm going to click my home button again on the iPad, go back here. I'm going to open up my classroom icon again, my classroom app. And so what we need to do is we need to get our picture, which we've saved to photos, onto the slide. To do that, in the top right-hand side, there is a plus. Whenever we want to add something, we hit the plus. We'll add an image from photos, and we added this one right there. We'll drag it into the place that we want by moving our finger around the screen. We can make it bigger, or we can make it smaller. We're going to go back to Classroom with the icon in the top left-hand side of my screen. That's going to take me back to the classroom. I'm now in Google Classroom again. I'm going to click out of the X, and there is the original document. Now, I'm going to pull up this caret at the bottom of the screen, and I'm going to say, I did it because I added those things. I'm going to mark it as done, and it says, wait a second, you didn't turn this in, but we're all sharing a Google slide, so I'm going to mark it as done. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to drag down, and we're going to back arrow. And you'll notice now that my causes of World War I is grayed out, so I'm going to go to pick a cause. This is a question assignment. Here's how you do a question assignment on Google Classroom and the iPad. It's worth 5 points. We see the instruction. What was the most important cause of World War I? Well, we now know what they are because we just did that slide account. All we need to do here is we need to type in our answer. Nationalism. So we'll choose nationalism as our cause. All we need to do is turn it in. If you want to add a private comment to your teacher, you click the private comment, type in what do you want? Great question. And then we can hit the paper airplane to our teacher. But since we don't need to do that, we're going to click turn in, and now we have just finished that assignment. Next, we'll hit that back left arrow again. Please notice that that's grayed out, and it looks like we've got 2 things left to do, both in civil rights. The first one is grayed out, which means, aha, I don't have to turn anything in for this assignment. So let's take a look at what the teacher wants me to do. It says, please examine this collection of civil rights movement photographs. Be prepared to explain which of the 3 photographs would be the most influential for citizens in the U.S. to support the civil rights movement. So what I've got here is a link. My teacher has provided a link for me. As I mentioned earlier, all you need to do to open that link is to click on it. When I click that link, automatically the teacher's link opens up and it shows me photos from the civil rights movement, and then I can go through and check out the photos. So once we've looked over that and we've got our ideas, again, we're going to go back to Classroom. By now we've done this a few times, so you know, top left-hand side of the screen is Classroom. We're going to go back to Classroom, and since we really don't have anything to turn in here, we're going to go back and we're going to say, aha, that one's good, we're done. At this point, we're almost finished with our course. We've got one to go, one blue assignment left. So let's click on that and see what the teacher has for us in this one. It's called Civil Rights Leaders, and it looks like it's a quiz. So this is a quiz in Google Forms. So what we'll see here is that it's worth 5 points. We can add a class comment by clicking the Add a Class Comment section, but we're not going to do that. And we're going to click the attachment. So if we click the attachment, Google form opens up, and right away we see the title is Civil Rights Leader. It checks to make sure that we are who we're supposed to be, so Jackson's name is there. And then we see our one question. It's which civil rights leader delivered the I Have a Dream speech at the Lincoln Memorial? Martin Luther King, Rosa Parks, John Lewis, or the Little Rock Nine? Martin Luther King, hot August day in Washington, D.C., delivered that speech. So I'm just going to click on his image or click on the box. Underneath, I can have it send me a copy of my response, or I can just leave it as it is, either way. And then if I hit submit, it takes me to this screen, and it says, would you like to view your score? Sure, let's see how I did. Aha! I got it right. So I've got my green Martin Luther King. I know I did a good job. I'm super excited. I want to go back to the classroom. So I'm going to hit that Classroom in the top left-hand side of the screen we have for every other thing. Now, this is important. I took it in forms, but I need to tell the teacher, and I need to tell myself and my parents I'm done with that assignment. So I'm going to drag up from the bottom of the screen again, and I'm going to mark it as done. Now, we didn't attach any work because we did it in the Google form. So we don't have to attach any work, but we did do it, so we're going to mark it as done. It's important to note that all of the assignments that we did, we had to finish in Google Classroom. So just because, students, you did it in forms, or you did it in slides, or you did it in a Google Doc, make sure that you go back to your classroom and turn it in from there, or mark that you did it. That way, your teachers, you, and your parents will all know that you're organized, you're up to date, and everything is where it's supposed to be. The last thing that we want to look at on the Intro to Google Classroom Classwork tab is in the top right-hand side of the screen, you see a little picture. If we click that icon, it brings up your class assignments. As you can see, Jackson had 4 assignments, and we turned in each of them during this section. So Jackson is all caught up and up to date, looking great. We have 1 tab left at the bottom of the screen. Remember, we already looked at the stream, we did our classwork, and now we can look at the People tab. The People tab will show all of the other students in the class, but Jackson's the only one, so it only shows the teacher. If we want to email the teacher at any point, we could just click the envelope next to the teacher and we can send an email to the teacher. So I hope that this video was helpful to you, and I wish you the very best of luck in 2020, 2021. And if you have any questions, please, please, please reach out to your teacher or reach out to me or Jason Kathman. And my name is Jeff Kresge. Thank you very much and best of luck.